Flyways podcast. I am your host, Joey Basayo. Cal is being a daddy tonight. He cannot join us for the podcast tonight, but guess what? I have two guests, and I have the old ornery farm kid himself, Gavin Colas, gear guy himself, and then I also
hate that.
And then I also have Ben Marleau. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said it
Ben
right.
Marleau from DOA Beavertail Products. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me out. It took us a couple tries to
it took us a
make
couple
it
months,
out.
but that's what happens when you have kids.
Yeah, you got responsibilities.
Yeah. I mean, I
don't.
pawn it off on my wife.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like. You called, I came.
Gavin's like, I'm going to buy an ATV. I'm going to buy a truck. I'm going to buy another house,
Well, ski boats, who knows? We just buy toys.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But no, I just want to start out this podcast by saying that it's actually sponsored by First Light, Ben. I don't know if you knew that. And they've actually come in. You did know that?
I did know that.
Oh, my God, he listens.
Everyone knows.
I listen.
Thank God. Chill out.
It's the only thing you wear.
They've actually been coming out with some badass shit for waterfowl. And if you go and check out their website, it's just constantly updating with new stuff. And one of the coolest things about working with them is we've actually been able to help make the products better for the future, which is like the coolest thing ever. So
It's invaluable.
Invaluable?
Yeah, it means it's very valuable.
Correct. No, I couldn't
price
hear
on
you
it?
very well because your mouth you're close enough to the mic.
Testing.
No, so go check out First Light at firstlight.com.
Fantastic gear.
Fantastic gear. Unlike Evan. So,
Anyway.
No, Ben, I wanted to start with you real quick, and why don't you just give a quick intro, because I feel like you have so much stuff to talk about. You've been in the outdoor industry for how long?
Full-time. Trying to do math. No, 8 years. 7 years, 8 years. Before that, always kind of stayed involved a little bit. Worked in it, did some guiding in college. After that, got more full-time into it, employment-wise, career-wise. And that's kind of how, 8 years, I guess, 10 years.
Did you ever guide full-time?
I
just
did.
part-time?
I did during college. That's why it took so long.
That's why college took so long?
Yeah, it took a little bit.
Hey, man, nothing wrong with that.
Where'd you go to college?
I did 2.5 years at junior college, and then I finished at Rasmussen. Yeah.
Nice.
That's more college.
Were you in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's more
Stayed
college
home.
than we have together.
Yeah.
No, I did it one semester at Hennepin Tech, tested out in 3 weeks. And I'm like, that was the biggest waste of $1,800 ever. It was so dumb. Everyone's telling me, go to college. You got to go to college. What if construction, doesn't work out? You don't want to be a laborer your entire life. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I went to Hennepin Tech, and it was everything I learned in 8th grade. I'm like, wow, can I just test out of this? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. Aced everything. I'm like, wow, that's the biggest waste of $1,800. Pissed me off. And then I never went back.
I can't argue that. I did
You didn't go to college at all,
I did
you?
a year at Hennepin, and that was it.
At North?
No, regular Hennepin. Hennepin Tech.
Hennepin Tech.
Mm-hmm.
I went to North. I messed up. I didn't go to Hennepin Tech. I went to North Hennepin.
Oh, you went to the... Oh, yeah, that's why
I
you
went to
tested out
go-
in 3 weeks.
I went to do my generals.
Oh.
I didn't do college specifically for the trades.
I did a trade-specific one.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
I
you did
should've-
electrical?
I did CNC and programming. CNC machining and programming
Wow.
for a year before I did electrical work after that.
I've known you for like 8 years, and I didn't know that.
Really?
Isn't
I
that
never wanted to
weird?
do nights. They told me nights for 15 years, and I was like, psych, I'm out.
Why is your go-to
It
the
always
shocker?
is. It
at
always
all
is.
times?
It always is. It always
the
is.
shocker. So Ben, what was like your break into the industry then? Because I'm generally curious. Because I know you worked for
Yeah.
Don Coffee for a while,
Yep.
right?
Yep. And I loved it. It was awesome. I started off doing pro staff work, working a lot of shows, worked for a few companies. Actually, pro staff for Beavertail was how I ended up getting into the industry and a career side of things. Just worked a ton of shows and networked and met as many people as I could, and just kind of tried to have fun while I was doing it. And then I finished up guiding a guide season. I graduated college December of 14, got home April that spring, 15, and then just kind of jumped right into a career. Stayed out of the industry for a year, and then had an opportunity to get a job as a sales rep and just kind of went from there and hit the
For
ground
who?
running. Working for Dunn Coffee Company. Awesome place to work. Got to work with some incredible brands. Really loved it. I covered Minnesota and Wisconsin, and so getting to know dealers all over that area was awesome.
And when you say a salesman, so like you would say, hey, I represent Costa or Costa. Which one is it?
Costa. Come
Costa.
On, Joey. Yeah.
I'm just making sure because I've heard it 100 times.
There's
either
only
ways.
one correct way.
Right. Well, he sold the product.
And
so
he
you would,
sold me these. I'm
Right.
aware.
Right. No, you sold me a pair too. You sold me a pair of Costas.
I'm wearing them right now.
But like you would go to like a retailer and you'd say,
Yeah.
hey, you need to carry this product in your stores,
Yeah,
right? That's what you
basically,
mean by a salesman?
You're the connection between the manufacturer and the retailer.
Sick.
And it's a ton of fun. I always liked you travel so much. I mean, you're traveling. My territory was over 100 nights a year, but it was a lot of fun. You meet so many people, and there's a lot of people I don't see as much anymore. I used to go to Bemidji all the time. I haven't been to Bemidji in over a year now.
Yeah.
Lake of the Woods, loved going to War Road. Baudette, Wisconsin was awesome. But and I still get to go travel. I do still get my traveling in because I really enjoyed that. But that ultimately led me to Beavertail and DOA. On the career side of things, kind of came full circle here last year. Took a position as a brand manager for Beavertail and DOA, and it's been a ton of fun. It was kind of cool for me this is kind of how I got my start into the industry, pro staffing for these brands, and then to kind of come back and work with them on a full-time basis has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you feel like pro staff has changed its meaning since you started to where it is now?
No, I think the definition is always up to the person. Honestly,
Because I feel like people think they're a pro, like a professional hunter if they have 10 pro staffs, and in reality, what is an average pro staff getting you? 10% off of product, and you take photos and video for the company? Because I'm like genuinely asking.
No, I think it just depends on how much you want to be involved in it. Just like when I was doing it, right? I had an end goal, and that's kind of how I approached it and pursued it. And now, we're looking at 12, 14 years later, and that's what led me to a career in the outdoor industry. If I hadn't done that pro staff work, I wouldn't have been able to work my way into the industry.
Yeah.
And that's the case for a lot of people that work in the industry. Is you work off you start off working shows in some form or fashion, meet some people, and then an opportunity presents itself. So I think you it is what you make it.
Yeah. How serious you take it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have taken photography, right? Content creation. You might do it for fun, and then you get pretty good at it, and you get really into it, and then all of a sudden you got magazines calling you, places are calling you, wanting you to go do stuff. It's the same type of thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Because you were doing that for a while too. You were taking photos for
I
couple
still take them.
companies,
I
right?
still take them for Pacific, and then I had a couple other ones as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm working on just Pacific for now. I haven't done anybody else in a long time, just because I stopped taking photos as much.
Yeah.
I got Chance was running, so I just ran the dog. I have a
Yeah.
hard time running the dog and taking photos.
That's
Especially when
for
he's
sure.
young.
Running a dog by its own is a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah, especially
Running a dog and like trying to hunt at the same time. He was giving me a bunch of shit because I have that young dog outside.
Yeah, you don't
Hank.
shoot a lot anymore right now, do you?
Well, that's the thing.
He
is
still tries to. That's the problem.
I
he
tried
still
to.
tries to, and then he's like bitching. He's like, "Fucking got problems." I'm like, "Well, yeah, put the fucking gun down." Like, if you just listen to me, you wouldn't have these problems.
The only problem that he's been having, is force fetch, and that was one of the things that I told the trainer. I was like, "Hey, I really want a dog that holds the bird until I take it from his mouth." And first hunt, it's the first hunt, so I'm not going to grade him super technically. And then it's 7-8 hunts after that, and it's like, oh, you really didn't get force fetched, like at all. And that's like my only gripe with him.
Yeah, which you can fix that. That's not a big deal.
Right.
You can
Right.
work
He's
on
still young enough too.
There's other problems you could have. I mean, you could have mine. Mine's worse.
What
in
is
other
your
ways. Mine?
Yeah.
You know what he's like. It's like loosening the fucking bolts on
I
an F1
know,
car.
Gavin, but we're on a podcast.
Sorry.
You know?
Yeah, that's fair. It's like loosening the bolts on an F1 car and hoping it all holds together.
Yeah.
Like,
He's just a
one
bat
wrong
out of
turn
hell.
and just zing, there goes the tires. He's just that way.
His dog is a bat out of hell.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's 110 at all times. He never turns it down. Never turns it down, which is great for certain things. You take him snow goose hunting in South Dakota, I can put him on a line and hit go, and he'll go forever. But you want him to be calm and collected. Fuck. There are days.
No.
Like, there were days in the meadow, though, that, like, he held fine, and then there were days where I was like, dude.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to let them run off them if they're fired up.
Oh, yeah. But I've had enough dogs now where I'm real good about putting the gun down. It's like if he has a troubled morning, I put the gun down and let everybody else shoot.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me any to put it down.
Yeah.
But it just takes experience and time.
The problem is I hunt with Cal so much. And so if I'm not shooting, there's not a whole lot of birds dropping.
You can't do that. He's not here to defend himself. That's so rude.
I know, but that's the best part.
The guy who's not here is always the fall guy.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
It's true.
You really probably shouldn't talk about shooting and missing too much.
You don't think?
If only we could play my Snapchat video from the second meadow hunt this year of you going.
Of course I have off days.
Off days?
Of course.
Off days. You couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat.
Hey, Ben.
It's not good.
So here's my deal. If I get less than 4 hours of sleep, I'm not hitting shit.
You don't function.
I'm not hitting shit. My reaction time is off, and I don't think.
We sent it up probably like 25, 30 mallards. Probably that second flock.
But if you think I really remember that,
I remember
based on the
this.
lack of sleep.
I remember this very
He
vividly.
hasn't forgot. Look at his face.
I remember.
He lives to remember.
he can't
no,
wait.
no, because somebody loves to. Every miscalled shot I've ever made gets reminded to me.
Excuse you.
You do.
Ben, here's how it happens. We're on a hunt, and it's like, who's calling the shot? For whatever reason, I'm elected. I am elected every time. And then
every time.
And if we don't have a total rain out, or if there's even a slightly bad shot call, I'm calling the shot now. Every time.
That
it's
has
like,
happened once or twice.
It's like,
that has happened.
Dude.
You only get so many chances.
Yeah, we're in Minnesota. Because, you'll let 30 swing like 5 yards left, and you're like, no, it's not touching my brim of my mustache. I'm not calling it. I'm like, dude. We got close. 7 guys in here that don't.
I'm not going to lie. He's saying like 30 far left. I'm kind of with Joey on that. Like right here, bud.
Well, okay,
hold
on. I'm all about right here. I am all about right here. But when they come through like this, and you don't call it here, and then you just kind of let them do another pass, and then they're 50, and I'm like, hey, man, what happened to the 25 to 30 that they were like
I'm more of a feet hanging, we banging.
Yeah. He forgot his knife. He didn't,
Yeah,
like,
I get
whatever.
it.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
It happens.
Unbelievable.
It happens.
Unbelievable.
I don't judge you that much.
One of the things that we've been asked a lot on Instagram, YouTube, podcast questions and shit is how do people get into the industry? And what you would probably say is start on a pro staff.
Yeah,
and see how much you can do for the company type of a deal.
Yeah, just hang out, network, right? I mean, everybody goes into something with an idea, whether it be, man, I want to meet a bunch of dudes in a bunch of other states and network and make a bunch of friends. And maybe every year we go on trips, or maybe you want to get into the industry on a full-time basis. That's a good place to start. I really started the whole thing contest calling. Just kind of was blowing my duck calls and goose calls a lot, and then was like, oh my gosh, there's contests for this? Or no, the old Whistling Wings videos way back in the day.
Oh, that's old school.
Yeah, way back.
You just aged yourself real bad.
I did.
Dude, he's only 2 years older than me.
Yeah, but dude, I'm at that perfect
Yeah, you're
age.
old as fuck too. What the fuck you mean? I'm the only young one here.
This kid.
Dude, Carter's 12.
That's
okay?
true, okay.
Yeah.
But like other people that are on video, I am the youngest by a substantial
Man.
number. Sorry, boy.
Did you even have VHSs?
Yes, I had VHS.
Did you have TVs with knobs?
Yes, I remember TVs with knobs. I remember dial-up internet.
Okay. No, he
fuck
doesn't.
right off.
Yeah,
I do too. I fully remember
I
dial-up
don't
internet.
know if he does.
He grew up on a farm in St. Michael.
Did you ever play Oregon Trail?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Yes, vividly remember
Dude.
that game. I could never win it.
Dysentery was always my downfall.
Can someone tell me how you actually win that game?
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah. I played that probably a million times. I think I always had dysentery or I starved.
Yep.
Did you remember floppy disks?
Yeah. That was the
No, he
very
doesn't.
yeah,
No,
dude.
did
No,
you
I
hear
do.
the hesitation?
No,
Yeah.
I do remember that a little bit. That was like the very.
What do they look like?
Yeah.
It's the little square. It's the square thing with the disc inside, right? The floppy disk, right?
Well,
No.
No.
Oh, isn't it the colored ones?
do you remember the black screens with the green letters?
No.
Yes.
No.
We got him.
I don't remember that one.
We got him.
That one's not me, man.
Got him.
I remember dial-up internet. I remember
Everybody
massive.
remembers dial-up.
Not Carter.
Come on.
Carter doesn't know what dial-up internet is.
Nope.
No way.
The
Carter's
kid's
like-
20.
Carter's like, I don't have fiber optic. I'm not moving here.
No way.
If I don't have 10 million
He never
second.
had dial-up.
No.
Dude,
I'm 21.
And he's from Western Minnesota
Oh,
too, but
man.
If you got to think,
What
dial-up.
town?
Chicago.
What?
Yeah.
Chicago. It looks like
It's
Chokio.
Chokio.
Okay.
Chokio. Says everybody not from Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from there. I can say it.
Yeah.
That was too good.
It's so good.
I need to refill here.
I'm never going to be able to drive through that town and not think of that again. Carter's
Yeah.
saying, I'm 21 from Chicago.
No, but like dial-up was the tail end of my youth. Like, there's no way.
AOL Instant Messenger.
No.
I remember that. I do remember that.
Baseball cards.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Baseball cards.
It's called
still.
AIM.
AIM.
Okay. AOL
Yeah,
Instant
AIM.
Messenger. Get out of
You've
here.
got mail.
You've got. I remember
Dude,
you.
that's
don't
how I
remember
started.
that?
That's how I
Nothing.
started
No.
flirting with chicks. Was on AIM,
Really?
and my username was like Monkey Boy 729 or something. Just
Horrible.
stupid. Just
Horrible
something
names.
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
just-
a couple. There's definitely a couple of email addresses from the early internet that I never need to see
Oh,
again.
man.
Like
Somebody in Washington is like looking at something in the Pentagon going, Gavin had some stupid email
oh, dude,
addresses.
I have a dumb email address from high school. You want to know what my like elementary
Don't
school
date.
ones
You know
were?
what? Don't tell the world.
No, I don't remember, but we don't need to tell them.
Yeah,
They're not
no.
good.
Yeah. We don't know. You need to know how long you paid the bed for, and we don't need to know your email address from high school, Gavin.
Jokes
Thank
on
you.
you. Still does.
If enough whiskey's involved, it's a possibility.
Those mattress protectors on Amazon are a godsend, aren't they, Gavin?
In the sad part, okay, we both have kids. Like, eventually we're going to have to buy
Oh,
those.
100%.
Yeah.
Hey, I just had to
100%.
buy it for an adult. Don't laugh at me.
Oh,
my
man.
God. Are you the adult, Gavin?
Yeah, I'm very open about that. Yeah, if I drink too much whiskey, 100% there's a chance.
I wouldn't say that on.
You think I give a shit on here?
Oh,
I've said
man.
way worse shit on this place.
True.
That is true.
We both just aged ourselves back to the black and green computer screens.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If I didn't have a sister who was 10 years older than me, I wouldn't have experienced the black and green. You know.
Well, maybe it's just me.
You are
No,
old.
you and I are very close in age, but there is from like 1990 to now, the advances in technology is like insane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Because
Yeah.
floppy disks were being used until like 98, and then 99, the internet was invented, and it's just like
Yeah.
everything just went skyrocketing
Yeah.
from there.
Look
I
what
remember
we
getting
did.
an Aladdin computer game on CD for the computer at 4 years old and being like, this is nuts. And then the next year the internet came out and email and
Dude,
just
it's
nuts.
like it's no different than like shopping. Like I remember getting like the Cabela's and the Sportsman's Warehouse catalogs, and like that's how I built my Christmas list.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now like I don't think I've received a Cabela's catalog in 15 years.
yeah.
Maybe
Television.
longer.
Yeah, used to tell your parents what you wanted off of for Christmas because of TV commercials for toys.
Yes, you used to write it down.
We're old school.
Oh yeah,
We're the
that's how-
last of the old school. You know what I mean?
That's real.
We like remember it, but Carter has no idea it even
No clue.
existed. Like rotary phones.
Carter's
I know
like,
what they are. Never used
never
them.
used
No.
them?
You've never,
Carter's
wait,
like-
hold on. You've never used a rotary phone?
No.
My grandparents had a rotary phone until like 2005.
Dude.
They still have a landline.
My grandparents still have a
grandparents
landline
did.
rotary.
Oh, my grandparents
phone.
still have a landline to this
Yeah.
day.
Dude,
I
they're so
laughed
much
though.
fun to use though.
I remember my grandmother having like a rotary phone at the house in town, and next to it was like the contacts card list that you'd pull a
the
contact.
Rolodex.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah,
had
no,
to
the Rolodex.
No,
Yeah.
she never Rolodex, but she had like a built shelf.
Yeah.
So it was labeled. So you'd be like, oh, I need to call Aunt Megan. You'd pull Aunt Megan's contact. It had her address,
Yeah.
Wow.
phone number, everything. Like I remember
that's
those
crazy.
days where you'd call and be like, oh, so-and-so's on the phone. I can't use the phone now.
Yeah.
Like,
I still have like 14, 15 phone numbers memorized before I got a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
none.
Like,
I
Cal's
can't
home
say that.
phone, Cal's parents' cell phone.
No way you have Yari's
Both of my
phone number.
parents both my parents' cell phones,
Can you prove this right now on the pod? Because I
and then a
very
couple
sad.
girls that I dated back in the day. I remembered their phone numbers because I didn't have a
Shouldn't
cell phone
admit
at the
that.
time. What's that?
Should never admit that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so open. It's actually probably damaging to my relationship. You know.
Same.
But okay, so contest calling, Ben.
How did you get into that back in the 80s?
Probably. It's funny because it's not that far from the truth.
Were you born in 91?
90. Yeah, I'm at that perfect age where I'm old to some, but I'm young to others. I'm like right in the middle,
Yeah, to my
and
parents.
it's a
maybe.
glorious place to be.
So you're like any other human being,
Yeah.
or
I can scout with my hood up and still look cool,
oh my god.
but also like I can get up and drink a coffee.
And
enjoy it.
enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
The enjoy it piece of that was the key.
yeah.
If you
So-
see me drinking coffee, something's wrong.
So anyway, you were getting good on your duck and goose call, and you're
Yeah,
like, they make
so-
contests for this shit.
Yeah, watching the Whistling Wings video, you're like, oh my gosh, they make contests, or there's all these contests across the country, and went on the internet because it was around back then, and I found this website called callingducks.com, and
Oh, yeah.
there was all these contests. It was a calendar, 12, a yearly calendar of contests, and there was that was back when there was contests. Every retail store had a contest. And so that year, I think my first contest was at the Gander Mountain in Bemidji.
Damn.
Yeah, me and a buddy
Damn.
just drove up there. I don't even think we were old enough. So that was when I was like 16, and I didn't think you could get a hotel room
Yeah.
if you were 16, which you probably can't just walk in and be like, I want a hotel room at
You
16.
need a credit card.
Yeah, didn't
you?
have one. Didn't have one at
Yep.
16. They didn't come out with those till 99. And so
I was 3 then, jackass. Don't look at me like I wasn't born.
so we got up to Bemidji the night before the contest, and cool, where are we gonna sleep? And didn't really think the whole thing through, so we just kind of slept in the car in the
Slept in
parking
the
lot.
front seat of the truck.
Yeah, man, I slept in the driver's seat of the car.
There's nothing more uncomfortable than sleeping in the
Yeah,
front seat of a
It's
pickup.
bad.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Oh, I don't do it anymore.
I'll do
I
that.
can't.
I'll do that tomorrow night.
I'd rather get out of the truck and sleep in the ditch. I won't do that. No,
You won't do the front seat anymore?
I'm good.
I'll do the front seat tomorrow
When
night.
you grow up a little bit, you won't do it anymore either. You hit a
It's
point
true.
in life where
It-
you're like not
It
doing
really
it.
does hurt.
Yeah.
The Billings
Yeah.
hotel I tried to stay at was like $230. I was like, nah, I'll sleep in the truck. It's
One
fine.
day you won't care. You'll be like done.
Yeah. No.
Comes with
it-
a hot breakfast, cable, and a shower.
Fair
Sign
enough.
me up.
Fair enough.
Dude,
But
He's got a point.
yeah,
Well,
I slept
it's
on the-
only one night. It's Thursday night. Then Friday
I-
night I've got a place to stay.
I had a crew crap one time, and I was going to meet some buddies in like Nodak, it was like middle of Nodak, and it was an early goose opener, and I couldn't get off of work in time, whatever. And I was like, I'll just meet you out there. And so I meet them at the hotel. I couldn't get a room, and I'm just like, I gotta wake up in 2.5 hours anyway. It's like
yeah.
2 a.m. I'm like, fuck it. So I'm trying to sleep in the driver's seat, and I'm like, this is awful.
Oh,
Try
it's
to go sleep
horrible.
in the back seat.
Yeah.
I got the dog back there. I got all my hunting shit back there. So
Yeah.
I like put that in the front seats, and it's like the buckles hitting me just
Yeah.
right. I'm like, oh, this is awful.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, this is a crew cab. So I put up the seats and put down as much crap on the floor as I could. Slept like a freaking baby for the last hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then I get a on the damn car window, Joseph, what are you doing? You slept in the parking lot? I'm like, what the fuck else was I supposed to do?
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, I just tilt the seat back and go to bed.
Yeah. One day you will
Yeah.
grow up.
You'll get there.
I'm too cheap. That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's 3 days of repercussions after you sleep in a vehicle once you get old enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not good. Like, if
No.
you're just sitting in the layout blind, you're just like, damn it. Your neck is just like getting up to shoot, and you just like can't hit anything because your neck's so tweaked. It's like, nice.
Go on about Bemidji. Let's go.
Yeah. So no, that was my first contest.
Did you win?
No, I didn't win. I mean, I did pretty good. I think I placed in everything, if I remember right. And then after that, did game fair. Used to be a shop in Mankato called Red Bear Hunting Emporium. That was when I won a couple contests there.
Just Queen House.
I think I won the novice and the open in the meat duck on that one.
Nice.
And then I used to blow in goose calling contest back then too. And then I got into Main Street calling. I did that in 07 at Game Fair. 2008, I won the Minnesota State and qualified for Worlds the first time. So that got me to go down to Stuttgart, Arkansas. A buddy of mine, Chris Davies, brought me down. He had a family friend that lived in Stuttgart, and he said, "Man, if you qualify for Worlds this year, like, I'll take you." He covered everything.
How old were you?
I was
teens.
18.
Nice.
Yeah, 18.
That's a wild town to be cut loose at 18 in.
Not really. No. It's not.
I've had good times down there. I don't know.
I've never been to Stuttgart, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But how'd you do in Worlds?
I think I made the second round my first year there, and then after that kept qualifying, and then stopped goose calling and just kind of started focusing on Main Street. Usually now I go down there every year. I think my best place was like 10th.
In Worlds?
That's still pretty fucking impressive.
I mean, I've made the third round a bunch of times.
Do you squeak or is it just like
everybody does, man?
No,
Don't even
I'm
talk
saying
about
like
it
why
right
do
now.
you get cut? Like what's your main reason for getting cut?
Squeaking.
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, I've blown clean down there before, and the thing about there, once you get to the third round, there's obviously more people that blow in the third round than there is places. So not last year. Last year I squawked and I was not thrilled. I mean,
Do you get pissed when you squawk?
Oh, dude, when you squawk at Worlds, you like, and you're just like, oh, 364 days till like Happy Gilmore is in the cage. Oh, 364 days, So it just it's a horrible feeling, but it happens, and it's happened more than once, and it's gonna happen again. But the worst feeling is like a couple years ago. After the third round, everybody kind of looks around, and Jody Nickham was sitting next to me. And
your favorite person to troll online ever.
Oh, no, that's Corey.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Corey Nickham.
Corey.
You love to troll Corey so bad.
Yeah, we did for a while.
You put his number on Facebook for calling lessons.
Oh, yeah.
Corey literally comments, he goes, "Whatever asshole put my number on here, please delete it. My phone literally shut down from phone calls."
I did.
God.
I did that. No,
Good for you.
By the way, I don't know Corey Nickham from Adam, but I saw that thread and I scrolled down. I was like, damn, because then Ben goes, "I don't know who would ever have done that." And then screenshot it and put it up that it was him.
For help with your feed. 913, yada, yada, yada. He wasn't happy.
You should do that again just to fuck with him.
I'm good. I don't need that anymore.
He's got kids, man.
Yeah, I got kids, man. I got responsibilities and stuff.
Let me do it then. Give me his number. I'll do it.
No, we don't want to go there.
I'll send it to you guys.
I'm kidding. I'm not doing that to Corey. He seems like a nice enough guy.
Oh, great dude. Yeah. No, I was sitting next to Jody, and after the third round, everybody blows, and I think there was like 16 of us back there, and they bring back 11 place, and everybody blew, and I look over at Jody, and I'm like, well, it's about that time of night where even if you blew clean, somebody's about to get whacked. And I was blowing really good because Jody blew behind me like twice that night, and he was like, dude. Or he would come up and listen, and I'd get done, and he'd be like, dude, just do that again, right? So I had Jody all night long like, dude, do that again. So I get done with my third round, and I'm like, yeah, bud. Like, I'm doing good tonight.
I'm in.
Right?
Let's go.
So I tell Jody, man, this is where somebody blows clean and gets whacked and has no idea why. The door opens and they go, "Ben Marleau, thanks for coming." I was like,
fuck me.
Like, what do I grabbed my chair and I didn't even know what to do with it. I was going to fold it up and then I froze. I don't even know what to do. I thought I was going to do good. I looked at Jody. I'm like, bro, you told me I did good. You were telling me to keep doing what I was doing. Yeah.
He did it on purpose.
But that happens,
Yeah, it's the luck of the draw and kind of who listens and who you get.
It's a lot of it is, like I've said this forever, and it's just there's some guys that are incredible contest callers, and really talented on a duck call, on a goose call, and it's fun. Again, it is what you make it, right? The friendships that have come out of it. Obviously, I'd like to win a Worlds one day, but ultimately sometimes you're going to win and sometimes you're not,
Did you know that was the first place you and I met?
Stuttgart?
No, was that a contest?
I didn't.
You didn't know that?
I'm
I didn't think you
sorry.
Who's
remember
that
that.
weird-looking
sorry.
wimpy
No,
kid?
right?
no. Do you remember?
He's so young.
It
He
had
probably
been.
didn't even look the
No,
same.
I didn't have a
I
beard.
know,
I didn't have a
yeah.
beard back then. I was
Yeah.
clean shaven. It was 2014. They did a contest at Horse and Hunt Club. You won it to qualify.
Oh, yeah, I
for-
remember that
yep.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, I had asked Ben Blue, and then came off, and he was sitting by himself. And conveniently at the time, we both chewed Copenhagen. I was like, oh, this seems like the kind of guy I could ask a question for. So I asked him for a dip, and then I asked him to help me with my feeder chuckle. And he literally helped me in the parking lot for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I went on my way and went home. Ben,
Really?
I didn't
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think he would have any idea of that because I looked totally different from when we actually met and became friends. But it was funny because I was like, that's the first time I met him.
Yeah, and then the next time I judged him at a contest, I probably just hacked him.
Me? I've never blown in one.
Oh.
Never blown in a contest.
That's how I-
I've probably
That's how I
hacked-
met you.
Yeah.
I've never blown. I've
So,
never blown Ben.
So I judge you no way.
Never blown.
Oh man.
Neither one of us have. We've talked
It
about
is.
it,
Like-
but never done it.
I've had to explain to people
Why you've cut someone?
yeah,
I
some
bet that's
people
so uncomfortable.
well, and some people take it
Personal.
get a little upset, but when I explain it to them, like, okay, right? So, like when I judge, if it's an open contest, then this is how I judge. But if it's a novice contest, I judge it a little differently because I want people to be engaged, right? But
You wanna build it.
Yeah. When you go to the opens, to me, that's the highest level of competition there can be, right? In contest calling. So when I am judging in an open, if you make a mistake, I just go straight for 0. Because
Dude,
somebody else.
He's fucking brutal.
Oh, I know.
But-
Last year he did it to somebody. He came back and goes, fuck him. Is what
It
it is.
happens.
Is
Yeah,
what
like,
it is. Like it happens.
I-
Like you made a mistake.
If I make a mistake, I want a 0 because I don't want any question, right?
Yeah.
So, if you make a mistake, I just go for the 0.
Well, like a
because
mistake as in like a squawk.
If you make a squawk,
Squeak.
done. If you make a little bobble, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
little-
there's some room there,
Okay.
but you're not going to get a good one,
But if you squawk,
If you squawk, you're out. And my reason is because sometimes, and it's okay, it happens, it's fine, it's happened before, it's never going to not happen. I've probably missed some things too. But if a judge or one or maybe 2 judges misses something and they give them a good score, right? And I don't go straight for the 0, all of a sudden you've got a guy in the 3rd round who made a mistake in his 1st round
who shouldn't be there.
who shouldn't be there because somebody got cut after the 2nd round who
that
was still
should-
clean.
I've seen that debate
Yep.
so many times where like a guy's like, I shouldn't be here and I squawked, but I'm here.
So that's my logic behind it.
That's fair though. That makes sense to me.
No, absolutely. He's just fucking brutal about it.
Oh, but like
Yeah.
I don't disagree with
explain it, and I take notes and I walk everybody through. And
I don't
and
disagree
you
with
are
being
really good
harsh
about
though
that.
about that though, because like he said, I can probably name 10, 15 times I've seen on a calling contest page where someone's like, I don't know how I ended up in the 3rd round. Like I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Or they won it and they're like, I squawked twice. I shouldn't have won this.
Right.
I won't say the contest callers, but like there's plenty of guys that can admit.
So when I judge a novice, though, it's totally different, right? You're judging a contest that people are typically beginning their contest career in. You want them to be more engaged. You want them to learn. You want them to come back. So you don't want to just because ultimately,
Yeah, you're gonna take their
if it's
Kill the
wind out of their sails.
Yeah, if it's their 1st or 2nd contest, I want them to come and learn and talk to me, and that's why even though I mean, Stahl judges the same way I do. That's
He
kind of
does.
why I started judging in a
Hilarious.
way because
He is like the Grim Reaper. He has no sympathy.
yeah.
No,
And that's how I kind of came
Ben
up
is the
too, right?
same, yeah.
So when I started, back in 06, 07, when I started going to big regional contests, like that was what you got. If you did bad, you just. I mean, Rick Dunn used to. If I saw Rick Dunn was judging back in those days, I was like, I'm getting smoked this contest, because he would always say, "You're scooping at the end of your hail." So it was like, wah 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 wah.
Yeah.
And he would just 0, done.
No questions.
No questions, right? And so that's how it's a school of hard knocks,
I say you learn a fast way to be better.
yeah.
But-
Well, when you're scooping, you don't have good
Mhm.
air control.
Oh yeah, and but those guys always pulled me aside and gave me the fundamentals and the instruments.
They weren't an
to-
asshole about it.
Yeah, they taught me
think-
how to do things correctly, and so that's what I've kind of tried to pass
Right.
on at contests.
I think there is a huge difference between a guy who like cuts you and gives you that 0, which is harsh, but explains why and helps you get better,
Well,
versus
totally.
the guy that's just like fuck him and just tries to kill it.
Right. No, and that's how I met you. We were both judging at Game Fair. I'm pretty sure it was my first year judging. And Nick Johnson was like, Joey, you know how to call. Come and judge, and just judge it based on the person you want to hunt with the most. And I'm like, Nick, I am not qualified to judge this contest.
Dude.
And then like in the judging booth, you're just like, people will be giving each other looks, and they'll be like, nah, or they'll be like, wow, or whatever.
You can always see. So I'm sure you probably did it. Guys that haven't judged much and haven't been around contests as much, you'll see them go like this.
Try to see everybody's scores. yeah.
Like trying to put their arm around a girl for the first time. You know?
Let me lean.
I'm way off. Okay.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, man, because there's definitely been times at certain contests or certain shows where, like, you should judge, and everyone's like, there's at least one person back there that just got thrown in and knows how to hunt and knows how to call, but does not have, like, the accolades you would or Sean would or guys like that.
Well, it's hard, too, because...
it's hard to get those guys to judge every time.
It's hard to get guys to judge because a lot of times
you're blowing
we're all
too.
in the contest,
Right.
So that's why anytime I go somewhere and there's contests, or even if I'm like the year that my daughter was born, my wife and I had our daughter. Like I knew that she was due sometime in middle of December, so I knew that I shouldn't go to Stuttgart. That'd be a bad idea to go to World's Thanksgiving weekend that soon to when she'd go into labor. So that summer, I just went and judged everywhere. Got a hold of Mike Eddy. Hey, you need me to judge? Because I'll come down. Just because it is hard to get judges, especially.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it's fun. Like
you have a good time doing it.
Yeah, like, hey, we'll put you up in a room if you want to judge. Gee, I don't know if I want to do that. Just kidding. Let's go.
Free beer?
if you're not paying for a hotel, it's called cost averaging. It doesn't matter at that point.
That's smart. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start making you cost average me on trips, Joe.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
But
your bitchy attitude versus what you actually contribute. Yeah, I can cost.
I'll remember that next time you wanna hunt the farm.
Sounds good.
Remember that conversation.
Sounds good.
I'll invite Ben instead.
Sounds good. No, shit. He's a better hunter than I am, guaranteed. So.
I've brought Ben there too, though.
Nice.
There was a lot of ducks that came that morning. The problem was, I think it must have been a full moon. They came way early.
Like 20 minutes before shooting light and one wad of 100. And the four of us were sitting there, we're like, what do I do? And Ben's like, well, we can cut them, but they're never coming back.
Like we should just not work. One of those deals, you ever walk into like a trap? Have you ever fallen into a trap? Like you scout out a pond or a loaf or something and it's full of ducks, but it's always in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, dude, we got it. Yes, right? And then you go there and you're waiting for them to start showing up in the morning and you hear, and you look up and you're like, that's all of them.
Yep.
And then nothing happened. Like your best thing to do is just stop what you're doing and try to figure out a different way to kill them. And that's what happened that day.
The best part of it was he had to leave at I think 9 to go work.
Probably.
You had to leave early to go work. And he's like, I can't shoot, so I'm going home, but you boys should find a different plan because they all came in one load. We hunted the field next to it the next day and shot our 3-man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that day after everybody left, I think me and Tommy and David shot 4 because they just trickled back in singles and we just shot that. But I have a video on my phone. It's just one big wad circling for 30 minutes before daylight, and we're all like, I definitely suggested cutting the center of that flock apart, and Ben's like, we shouldn't do that.
No, we shouldn't do that.
I know it's such a tough deal when you have so many birds coming in at once, where it's just you have all that adrenaline pumping, and then you're thinking when I scouted this, there was only 100 birds in here.
Yeah.
And there's about 80 to 90. And I have overinflated numbers every time, as Gavin loves to point out. I have a really bad
Love to
time.
remind him.
After we get it past 100 birds, I have no idea. It could be 2,000. It could be 10,000. I have no idea. My brain's just like, there's a lot.
Yeah.
We can do it.
7,000 mallards in town.
And it wasn't until I was hunting like what we were talking about when we were sitting by the silos, where you hunt the same spot multiple times a year and you understand the weather and why birds are acting the way that they are, where it's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't shoot these birds because they're not going to come back tomorrow or the next day. It takes a lot of time doing it to understand when to do it and when not to.
Yeah, there's a big restraint that comes in a situation like that where you go, most people only get a couple days a week to hunt, right?
Right.
2 to 3. You want those days to count, and it takes a lot of restraint to be in a position like that and go, this is not going to happen the way we want it today. We need to just stop.
Yeah.
We could, if
It
you guys
hurts.
want, let's go hunt geese this afternoon
hurts.
somewhere. But if we want this to be good, we got to do it a different day. Whether it's the sun or the clouds or the wind or the rain or something.
The only part that hurt that day was like Ben was 100% right with the calls. So we didn't shoot. We shoot those 4 at the end. We went back there the next day and did well. The third day, no mallards in town. Not a single mallard left in town. They were all gone because we had a north wind that second night.
Yeah.
Just gone. I was like, oh.
Oh, that's the tough part, especially it was probably in October,
I
right?
think I left to go south after that.
No, I think you were sanding floors still.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I left to go south after that, though.
Oh, you're
that
right.
was
You're right.
November. That was the beginning of November.
Yes, it was beginning of November because it was right before deer hunting.
Yeah, and we froze out that. That was the year there was a massive cold front. And then Minnesota froze up.
Yeah, Minnesota
Missouri
froze up.
up.
Yep.
And I was standing down south facing north, and I was like, oh.
Here we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
do
was-
remember this because you had to work a side job or that floor, and then you had to
Yeah.
bail like 2 days later or the next day.
Yeah.
I remember this now.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I got hosed. That was the
Yeah.
same year we packed in gear like a quarter mile into a snow-ridden cornfield trying to kill mallards in the fog, and we ended up shooting 16 mergansers
Nice.
in the cornfield. They just kept circling through, and we're all like, after the third pass, my buddy Jake's like, should we just cut these fuckers so we can say we killed mergs, common mergs in a cornfield? I'm like, fuck it. So we just lit them up. Every pass through the fog, 5 dudes.
And that's how they got the phrase lawn darts.
Probably, honestly, because there were a couple sticking in that snow real solid.
Froze before they hit the ground.
Oh, for sure. The dog had some beautiful marks all winter with those things. I don't think.
Oh
I
yeah.
used
How
a
could you
single
how
one.
could you miss a belly like that?
Well, I don't think
Bright
I ate.
white and yellow. Just glimmering in the foggy snow.
They're not even a duck.
No,
Yeah.
but I wasn't going to turn down the opportunity to shoot him in a cornfield.
I mean, yeah. I
So
suppose.
it's a good story.
No, I've definitely shot a lot of mergansers in a cornfield, and it was always in like the worst weather conditions.
Oh,
and we
dude.
were always very close to water though too, so they were
That-
just confused.
That day, it will go down as one of the most miserable and cold days I've ever had. Riley, it was one of the first hunts I did with Riley. Riley wore uninsulated boots, and it was -7 and like this weird fog dampness. And he's like, I got an uninsulated coat and uninsulated boots. And I was like, are you going to die out here?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In that
Like,
cold, yes.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm okay. It's not that bad. I was like, dude, I'm
Not okay.
shivering and I'm in full, like, every warm piece of clothing I owned. And he's like,
Yeah.
nah, it's not that bad. I was like, good for you, dude.
It's that bad.
Tougher than me.
Yeah. No, but
I don't do that. And it gets that cold? No, we're not doing layouts.
A-frames.
We're not
A-frame
going.
with
A-frames.
heaters.
Yeah.
I didn't
Something
own an
with a
A-frame
heater.
at that time. Now I own a couple. So now, the moment it gets cold, I'm like, A-frames and heaters, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but to cap off contest calling, that is how I met you.
Yeah.
Was in the judge's booth.
Yeah.
I was like a lost puppy, and I talked to you after the fact, and I was like, "You really gave zeros for like all those people?" And you're like, "Yeah, man.
All those people.
Yeah, yeah." It was like
Just
4 in a row.
cutting everybody.
It was like 4 in a row because we're all like judging, we're listening to it, and I hear you go, and then just put your card, and you're like this with your post-it note. You just like have a 0 immediately, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why'd you put a 0 for that person? And you're like, he
Squawk.
messed up his note. You know, he messed up his note. And then I talked to you after the fact, after you're done giving everybody notes. And I was like, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, but you have to give good notes. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
okay. And I've been judging Game Fair ever since. And so you were actually the person to teach me you need to give good notes as to why you're giving the score.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually really appreciate that because you taught me a lot without teaching me anything.
Look at that.
You know,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. But I'm not as harsh as you. Like, if it's multiple mess ups in a time, I'll at least give someone a 0. If it's one mess up, sure, you know, I'll give you a 1. But if it's like a bad mess up, then it's a 0.
What's
like you have
the
to understand.
Yeah, what's the point of a 1?
What's the point?
Like first round,
I can understand a 3 and a 4, but when you just go to a 1,
Give him a 0, move on.
yeah.
You're just
You know.
giving a man false hope.
no, I mean it's like like it's like, hey, here's a 1. Here's
Because
why.
is it judged on a 5?
10.
10.
Well,
10?
70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100.
So it's out of 10, but no
1
one
to
ever gives a
10.
10.
Got it.
Yeah.
No one ever
Yeah.
gives a 10.
Yeah, no.
Have you ever heard of someone getting a 10?
I'm sure somebody has. I don't know.
Not that you've like seen or been a part of.
No.
Oh.
No.
Even at Worlds?
No.
Damn.
No.
No.
Someone always gets a 9. Everyone always gets a 9.
Not even.
I'm always scared to even give a 9, honestly,
I know.
because like you'll hear a really good routine. You're like, damn, that was like super good. Because I've definitely given a couple 9s, and then the person right after it, I'm like, damn it,
Mm-hmm.
That
was better.
I've-
Like their
I've given
routine
some
was more
8s, but
technical.
You've never given a 9 even?
I've never given a 9, but I've given some 8s. And an 8
8 from you that's a 10. That's a clean
was
run.
good. 8
That's a
is-
clean run.
When I've given those 8s, I know I've been like, ooh, that was good.
Yeah.
I always like judge from the audience. I always listen and I'm like, I wonder what this person got. And then like
It
I've
sounds
seen your
so
scorecard.
different.
Does it
sounds
sound that
so
much different?
dude?
In the
Versus in the
Judges
judges
booth?
Yeah, versus the judges booth.
not really.
You don't.
I didn't think so.
Oh my god, no! You
No.
don't get the amount of acoustics because half the time they're blowing it at you, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know what, man?
So there's that.
Yeah,
whole
but I think
theory,
hold on. I'm
right?
talking
Fuck you! Do
Yeah.
not go.
I
Don't
think
do
that's
that.
I think that's more
Like,
goose calling
right
because
there.
like Main Street to me isn't.
Goose callers do that.
Yeah.
So when I
Main
first
Street
started,
seems like way different than everything else.
it is. But like when I first started, one of the big things was like, man, I blow right at the judges in my warm up and wake them up. And then you start judging one day, you know, and somebody does that. And you're
Hey,
like,
man,
not
I'm
cool, man.
hungover.
Like, not cool.
You're like,
I'm hungover,
you're like,
bro.
You're like whoever that is definitely getting a point
Party
deduction.
foul.
Party foul.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
Don't
9
do
a.m.
that.
Yeah,
It's 9 a.m.
Dude,
Yeah.
I can only imagine some of those contests 8:30, 9 in the morning. And wah, I'd be like, all right, really?
Main Street is by far my least favorite to judge because you are just judging people on who messes up.
See, but I like that.
It's
more
the
than
same.
that.
It's the same
I
song.
disagree.
A lot
It's
of
the
people
same
don't.
song.
It's not as popular as it used to be.
I think Main
Main
Street's,
Street.
if I could actually do it, which I'd never have been able to even get close to a routine, but I think it's cooler than most things because I think it's cool how far you have to push that call. Like you're pushing, you're riding on a razor's edge, and I like that. Like I don't know, that just interests me.
No, it's every contest has its own thing, right?
Mhm.
2-man goose, like 99% of the people like blowing in it. Like I hate judging that. I hate judging that because
hard.
everyone's stepping over each other, and it's like, what kind of a scale do you even judge them on?
Mhm.
And like I said, for Main Street, it's the same thing every single time. It's just who messed up and who didn't, who blew clean, and it's just like, I don't know. I find myself being way more critical on Main Street, whereas with like Open Goose
Or meat.
like you have some creativity and you can set yourself apart in your routine.
I feel like you can set yourself apart decently in Main Street, can't you? Or kind of?
There's things you can do.
I guess I think it's always like interesting because like you've had it once where I've, not to bring up a bad moment, but I've heard you squawk. And then when you came off, you were like, my cheeks went. And I was like, what? And you're like, dude,
all that pressure.
Yeah,
It's
my
gotta
cheeks
go
went.
somewhere.
my cheeks went. And I was like, I don't understand. And then you sat like later, you and I were just talking, and you were like, dude, if like my mouth isn't in shape, my cheeks
Yeah.
will go, and then
Yeah.
it's over.
And
like
that's
I
with
lose
all
it instantly.
Goose
Yeah.
calling too. Like if you don't, like I don't. I used to practice like year round every day, and then now what I do is like a month before a contest, I'll start blowing. The first 2 weeks is all about getting my air back, my lungs built up, and then getting my lips built back up, the strength in your lips built up. And then the 2 weeks right up to the contest is all about getting, back
Routine.
in the flow and your routine right and your finesse and all that stuff.
Just like riding a bike. You know the
Yeah.
routine. You
yeah,
get back
you just
on
gotta
it.
get to do
You
it.
just
Yep.
need to give the muscles back and your lungs back.
Yep. But, and then, I mean, when I did, it was also different when I started too, because you had a lot of the old school guys still around. A lot of the OGs were still doing it. Jimbo was still contest calling. You still had John Stevens blowing at some. Gilliam.
That's too heavy.
Was
hitter.
Teddy
he
K.
like super good, John Stevens? Because
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard his routine a couple times,
Oh,
but
it's-
there
it's
was
great.
nothing like crazy about it to me.
Oh,
And
he's-
maybe that's just like the Main Street.
His routine was awesome. My all-time favorite Main Street caller is Jim Ronquist.
Yeah.
Nobody can duplicate the sound that Jimbo makes on a call. It's music. Like I'll probably, now that we bring it up, like I'll probably listen to it on YouTube
On your drive home?
on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll turn the speakers all the way up.
What if for everyone else listening? How would you type it into YouTube?
Jim Ronquist World Championship calling, or Jim Ronquist calling 2006 World
I say
Champion.
I think
2006.
I think I've listened to that video.
Yeah, that was the first. He won the Worlds the first year they had the new stage in Stuttgart. Because John won his last one, I think. Man, I don't know.
How many wins does Jim have?
Jimbo won it once.
Once? Oh, I thought it was more than that.
No.
Once is still fucking impressive.
Oh yeah, like that's a feat.
Yeah, like even 10th, like
it's not easy.
Just qualifying is hard as shit.
Well, yeah.
Especially like when you look at like, I'll use Minnesota for example, like Game Fair. You look at Game Fair's lineup for duck callers for Main Street, and you're like, God damn.
So it's not as there's not as many guys going as there used to be. You used to go to Moline, Illinois. Mike Eddy used to put a contest on in Moline at the Days Inn. That was my favorite contest to go to, the IWA's, Illinois Waterfowl Alliance contest. And there would be like 40, 50 guys in every regional, and it was like a mini Worlds. But it wasn't even the contest that kept me going. It was everybody stayed at that hotel. Everybody hung out. And as soon as that was my first big contest I ever went to. And after that, I got home and I looked on the internet and I looked at every contest, and I just Mike Benjamin, we used to travel a ton together. We still travel together. But and Mick Hanen, me and Mike and Mick Hanen used to travel to contests all the time. But we like looked at the calendar and it was like, dude, book rooms, let's go. All of them. Which ones you want to go to? Every single one.
Damn.
And it was
Mike's
a blast.
Really fucking good now.
But see, that was what?
Do you feel like it's like changing as the times go on?
No, I think what's happening is what we're seeing is like, so when guys like Mike and I started, and Kyle Jones, a ton of us, all of us right now that are, all the old guys in it, right?
Yeah.
Old.
But it was like it was like the OGs. It was like a passing of the torch, right? Like now we're the old guys.
It's real.
Yeah. Like when kids get there, people are like, there's the older guys.
That is true. I
and
heard
we're
somebody,
like, there's the
I
younger
remember someone
guys,
saying that last year at Game Fair, like, God, those are the old dudes. And it was you and Mike standing next to each other. And I was like, yeah, it's not entirely wrong.
But we're not old enough to be OGs. Like, that's the part we're like stuck in this middle ground, right?
Right.
We're like LL Cool J. Like, he wasn't quite East Coast and he wasn't quite West Coast. He was just LL Cool J and he had a furry hat. You know what I mean? We're like early 2000s country.
Oh.
We're not cool enough to be 90s country.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
That was a really good way to put it.
It is.
It's
really good.
Yeah.
That was really solid.
Yeah.
You're not George Strait.
No, it's like
there's only one short straight.
It's like one of Kenny Chesney's good songs from the early 2000s.
Like
True.
2001
True.
to like 99 through 2002.
You started
Kenny.
to fall apart after about 2008.
Yeah, you know what I mean though?
Yeah.
Like
You're even like 5 years too late.
yeah.
2002,
I was
2003,
being
Kenny's
generous.
where it ends.
I was being generous.
Yeah.
You're being really nice. I'm a big
Fireworks? Fireworks?
Oh,
Kenny Chesney?
no,
Dude, come on.
No,
You don't
No.
like fireworks?
I don't even
No.
know that song.
Nope.
Damn.
Beer in Mexico, 2001.
Is it
That-
2001?
2001.
Yikes.
That's
Before
like
Corona took off.
Yeah, that's like the era that like you need to listen to Kenny Chesney.
I feel like I was unique in how I was brought up in waterfowl, where I was constantly hunting with a bunch of people who were 40 plus, and so they were taught either by their grandpas or their fathers or whatever. So they had like old school put into them, and then also naturally they were 30 years older than me.
Yep.
And with you being the way that you are and the way that you carry yourself throughout waterfowl and through DOA and beavertail and all that, I can tell you're very old school. And so I feel like you have a really interesting perspective because you do use social media and you run social media, I'm guessing, for beavertail, DOA. And so
we have a marketing department, but I work with those guys hand in hand and and guys and gals, and we, kind of put plans together and how we want to portray things. But yeah.
I mean, how do you feel like waterfowl is today? Do you feel like it's completely changing for the good, the bad? Do you feel like we're on the wrong path? Do you feel like companies are going along the wrong path?
No, I think so when you look at like license numbers, so everybody right now is like, man, it's so crowded, there's so much pressure, there's so many people. Well, actually, license sales, I want to say, are I'm not going to, are they almost half of what they were back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, right?
I think it's like 50 or 60% of the 80s.
We had Trinan on, and he knew the exact stats, and it was like
It's
baffling.
Yeah. But so what we're seeing, and I think it's a good thing, is that people are more vested in it, right? So it used to be, I feel like I'm too young to say back in the day. Maybe I'm not.
You're
I feel
not.
Like maybe I'm hitting a life stage here, man.
The midlife crisis entering in the middle of a pod.
So it used to be where, like public land would be busy, like the first 3 weeks, and then after that, you're pretty well good.
Yeah, it would slow down.
You still, if there was a public spot you wanted to hunt real bad, you still had to get there at midnight. I've still never been beat. Like if I wanted to go, it was like we're getting there at midnight.
We've hunted the same public spot and both gotten there real early.
Yeah, like it you know.
And we both know
Yeah.
exactly what we're talking about, but we've smashed them at that spot.
So I don't think I think it's changing in the fact that people are getting better at it. Because there's less people hunting.
The learning curve
getting more
is less.
vested. The learning curve is less.
Learning curve is less. I can agree with that.
I think it's different in the fact that so when I was younger, we didn't have. So Facebook had Facebook. I mean,
2008.
2008. So I graduated in 2008, right? So, like, I grew up in a waterfowling family, and then when I got
Your dad,
my dad waterfowl hunted. My grandpa had duck clubs like off of. He used to lease ground. My dad was telling me. I talked to my uncle, got names of the landowners, and I went on Onyx one day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these families still own this ground. But so he was
That's
like,
cool.
he like used to lease ground like right off of Lake Erie.
I've never.
in
I did
Ohio.
not grow up in a waterfowling family.
Damn.
But then I turned 16, and you could tell my dad. I've got stories from my dad from Canada, Delta Marsh back in the day. But see, back when you're 16, like we didn't have Snapchat, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have all these ways to connect, right? So what you had was maybe. So also in school at that time, me and my buddy Pete, like there was some people that hunted waterfowl at school, but not like all in on it. You know what I mean? So it was me and my buddy Pete, right? So back in those back in those days, there was like you kept a tight crew. It was just a couple of guys because you didn't have technology, and I think that's what the difference we're seeing is because some dudes hunt in big groups, and I've hunted in big groups, and I probably will still hunt in big groups occasionally. I find myself in that position, whether it's a pit full of dudes, which is still a great time because it's more of a hangout. I mean, you still do some killing, but you enjoy the hangout aspect of it. I enjoy sitting down below the deck than anything. So like you see I feel like a lot of the older guys are maybe like, man, you guys hunt really big groups. I don't like that. Oh, well, that's fine. Like everybody can think if you don't like to do that, that's okay because these guys all live in the same area so what we're seeing is this change of I hunt in small groups, right? 3, 4 guys, maybe 5 sometimes, 3 to 4, and a lot of times just 2. But that's how we grew up was small groups, right? And so guys that are younger than Carter's age.
Yeah,
little baby.
You're more used to going on groups of 4 to 8, right?
Yep.
So what
also, I think it's the amount of people that can scout.
Yep.
Because like those younger groups of guys, like I remember growing up hunting, I had like 2 hunting buddies who had 3 trucks. Mm-hmm. Well, when I'm from town, so it was easy for me to get access. But the kids from like 2 towns over that would come with 10 trucks because they needed to beat you to it. They needed to get there first. They needed more trucks on the ground just to get there. Well, if there's 10 people involved, you have a 10-man group.
Yep. And
so that's just the math.
And that's the change we've seen seen in a word. I'm that old. No, so it went from, you go from before all this technology to now all of a sudden you've got a crew in this town of 3 to 4 guys, right? Man, there ain't any birds over here right now. But because of technology, their buddy who's got a crew of 3, 4, 5 guys 5 towns away, a couple hours away, dude, we're covered up in birds right now. Okay, let's
come
go.
out,
right? And then that's how guys are able to stay on birds as much as people are these days. Because how many times? I mean, you're different, right? You've got some connections where you hunt.
Oh yeah, I'm very fortunate. Very fortunate from the farm. Very fortunate.
You're super fortunate. How many people
Spoiled,
actually?
some would say.
Right.
I mean, I am. I'm very open about it. I am.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
I have probably debatably, when the weather's right, one of the best spots in 50 miles.
See, and that's so like based on geography, depending on what part of the state you live in, you might only get to hunt the X like 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
If that.
If dude,
that.
sometimes just a bad year and the birds aren't there.
Dude, that
know?
like last year, the birds were in our fields, and I was the only one that hunted the X for a month and a half, almost 2 full months. And I can tell you, there's probably 15 kids driving trucks going, "Fuck that guy."
See,
and I was like, "Sorry, brother. Like, I will bring kids with. Kids are welcome to come with, but like, then there's days where I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, it's me and Riley and one other dude, or my dad and brother and I. Like, it's something small."
Yeah.
But like, I don't think I trafficked once last year. I hunted the X every hunt for 40 hunts.
Hey, what's that new trend on TikTok? How do you spell something?
Who's the douche?
No.
Who's the douche? Me.
Dang.
100% me. 100% me. I own it.
Man, I gotta look this up because I sent one of these the other day.
What is it?
It's,
How do you spell?
Oh my god.
how do you spell
I was
chauffeur?
there, but like,
How do you
That
spell
one?
chauffeur? Oh yeah.
And then that's Gavin right now. I hunted the X every time.
well, I'm very
Oh,
fortunate though.
fancy pants, go and fuck yourself.
But I will say, like, my circumstances, I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
We farm all the ground around 2 very large roosts, and my family, either my cousins own the rest of it or we farm it. So like, I'm very lucky.
And here's one too, like 50 rack of honkers. Like how many times when you were 14, 15, 16, well, granted the limit was 2 back then, right?
3.
Dude.
I don't even remember a 2 limit ever.
Dude. What?
No, I only remember 3.
It was 2.
It's only been 3.
When I started
It was
hunting by
2.
myself, which was 15, it was 3.
Yeah, so when I started hunting,
so it used to be 2.
And we still had an August.
Back in the day, it used to be 2.
I said we still had
a
August was
harvest.
15.
We still had a harvest season
Or it was
back when
15.
I just started hunting by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because August was 15 back then.
But it was very specific zones. In
I don't remember those
Chaska,
zones.
Chaska was one of the zones.
I don't remember.
Because I was
zones.
working in Chaska.
Gavin
I
just hunted everywhere.
I just remember hunting around the farm on cover crop one year when we were like 14. I couldn't even drive.
Only
and
on
Bartle,
the X's.
Bartle used to pick me up. Fuck off. Bartle used to pick me up to hunt, and we would just whack him. But like Bartle's hunted my family stuff. Well, Bartle, there's a prime example. Bartle hunted it until I could.
Bartle
hunt.
used to hunt that ground.
Yeah, until literally. No, Bartle laughs about that.
Oh, he's so.
He used to hunt literally the same fields I hunted
Gavin
until I
grew
turned
up.
16. Then I started driving, and then until Bartle met me at 18, then he didn't hunt for 2 years on our stuff. Now he comes every time I invite him, or when he's not hunting Maple Grove.
Occasionally, when it's not an X, then I call Bartle.
God, this fucking guy. You've been invited on the X too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
So have you. Don't even
I would
fucking
actually
start.
Hey, I'll tell you this: I would never not hunt something because it was an X. But 10 out of 10 times, I would rather hunt traffic
Really?
every day.
Write that down.
Fuck
Every
no.
day.
I'm the opposite.
You got a pen and
Yep.
paper, write that
I'm
down.
the
Yep, I would
opposite.
rather run traffic,
I'm the
and above
opposite.
all, I'd rather pull migrators than anything.
Oh, that I could see. Yeah.
Yep, I'd rather
That-
pull
yeah.
migrators and run traffic than go, there's a roost a mile over there. And it's still fun, right? Like, when they come off the roost and you're like, great, here they come. We got about 15 minutes of this, and we're done. Like, we'll be having bloodies by 7:30 today, if it's early season, you know?
Hey,
But I would
on
much
your
rather-
boy. I doesn't mind me much.
I would much rather run traffic.
Man.
Like,
It just feels so much more rewarding.
That's what I get out of it. I used to love quick hunts. Like, dude, I was there, right? Back before Wisconsin, like, blew up. You used to be able to go there. So me and a buddy, we used to make up, like, when I first started going to college.
2001.
First time around, first go around.
Like, I set my college schedule based on how I wanted to hunt, and then
Epic.
I
Every
would base
hunting
my,
kid ever.
Yeah, I would
Epic.
base my work schedule on when I wanted to be able to go scout and hunt, right? So I still worked a bunch, but like you could go over there at that time, and like if you went and scouted on a Thursday, you could have 3 feeds lined up, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And now I love just let's go and bang them, and then let's get out of here. But now I'm like, man, if we hunt till 10:30, 11 o'clock today, I'm good with that.
I hunted from like 09 to 11, and you could fuck them up
Yeah.
in that
You
area
could.
back
You could.
then.
No,
'Cause I was
that
there.
place is
Like back,
really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
like
There's
my uncle's business partner
I hate
has a
that you
farm
just
there.
said that out loud, but
Why?
yeah,
It's
he
okay.
just totally said it out loud.
Like everybody doesn't already know that.
There's a lot of people that don't know that.
Yeah,
Really?
there's a
I
lot
bet
of
you most
people
people
that
know
I
that.
can bleep it if you wanted to.
Yeah, if you want to
Yeah, you
bleep
should
it, go
probably
ahead.
bleep it.
Yeah, good, I guess. Fuck.
Gavin,
Fuck it, why not?
Yeah,
I'll give you coordinates to my spots. Good luck getting
Yeah.
them.
You should put little question marks. Or
Okay.
you should just like put something else in like
I'll just put in a
dropping- yeah.
censor.
You know what I mean?
They don't know what he said.
Why don't we name off a bunch more towns over there?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Never give shit.
Somebody does.
Fuck them. Everyone comes to my town.
everyone's so
No,
nice. Everyone's so nice in that area. They're just like, just don't shoot my horses.
Everyone comes to my town. Says, both time I put somebody else's spot on blast.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think, like, to get back to your point on the differences, you know,
Yeah.
I think you grow into the difference too, right? So 20 years ago, it was bloodlust, right? I wanted to kill birds every day. And now I'm like, man, I'm cool. Let's just work a bunch of birds,
Yeah.
you know?
Do you think guys grow out of that after
Oh,
they
I
kill a
think you-
certain amount, or do you think you just age
It's
out of it?
it's the stages of a waterfowler, right?
Yeah.
Eventually you get to a point where I don't want to shoot them unless they're right here. And it's not because you're being snobby, picky. I want to see them do the deal, right?
Mhm.
And I think there's some people that just, there's some people that probably just never be fortunate enough to get to that point. And that's okay too. Because, I mean, everybody hunts because they love to hunt,
Yeah.
right? Whether you hunt twice a year or 100 times a year, you do it because you love it. It's just a matter of, you know, how do you want to do it?
Mm.
And so I don't know if it's changing per se. I think you grow with it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we all want to kill them just as bad as we used to, but we're okay. Like I feel like, at least for myself, I still like to put in the work to make the hide happen, right? You got to disappear. You got to set the table. You got to have the appearance, like everything has to be right.
Mm.
You know, on days where you're like, I don't think it's going to be that good today, I don't care, because if we're only going to see 2 bunches today,
Oh, I'm going to do it.
I want this thing to look right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's changing?
Yeah, I think the mindset is changing, where it's more so for, I think it's more sporting than ever, and it's more showing off than ever, personally, where it's like, look at me, I have a big dick.
But see, now I think it's different because you and I grew up before Instagram was a major thing, right?
Right.
I didn't
So
have Instagram
back
until
in the
like my
day-
senior year, so you can put the three.
Are you
of us
talking
in
about
there.
diners and gas stations where
No.
everyone would show their kill?
No, like people used to like the forums. The forums,
Used to be
Dude,
hot.
huge, right?
Forums were
but
so
people used to
annoying,
have
yeah.
to like how much. Okay, so it's more work to put a picture on a forum than it is on Instagram, right?
way more.
So who?
Mhm.
So
Way
when
more.
you talk about the generational differences, who wanted to show off more?
Ooh.
Because I had to pull it off a camera, put it onto a computer, load it onto PhotoBucket, copy the link onto PhotoBucket, log into the internet forum, find the post I wanted to put it on, and put it in there.
Damn, he's not wrong.
You know what I
That
mean?
takes dedication versus
You got to
7
want to
seconds.
post that picture.
it's pretty intense.
You know what I mean? So
I
it's just
see.
it's
Forgot
all
about that.
so
I-
it's the same with clothing. Like right now, high-end clothing, $1,000 waders. It's a lot of money, right? But back in the day, man, a $200 pair of waders
Big deal.
like was a big thing. So it's all just changed.
Inflation.
It
My
has
uncle still-
changed, but it's a like a product of the time. You know what I mean?
I can agree with that because I think the big thing now is like I grew up hunting. Like I didn't have a dad that hunted for waterfowl. He hunted everything else but not waterfowl. So my uncle brought me. My uncle passed away when I was in high school, but he was 70 when he brought me for the first my first actual duck hunt in North Dakota. He used to tell stories all the time about how the same 4 guys hunted the marshes up by Detroit Lakes where he grew up, and he would walk out the limit and have to wait for the guys to come out of the marsh to show his limit off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just you had such a smaller sample.
You couldn't show it to 5,000 people at
No,
one
he
time.
could show it to the 4 dudes who hunted the same
know.
2 lakes that he hunted every weekend, and he could show off his birds
Your audience
to
is
those
smaller.
people. Yeah, your audience is smaller. Now I think it's
Yeah.
just blown up because the audience you get.
Yeah.
I mean, how many followers do you have? 5,000?
Me?
Yeah, you.
It's like 9.
9,000?
something,
So you have
yeah.
9,000 people looking at your photo that you post.
Yeah.
That's a large audience.
See, what I enjoy more now is like good photography.
Yeah.
That
See,
like
and,
I have
like-
a lot of appreciation for that.
See,
That's
and like
cool.
I think everybody like what you enjoy is different. Ben likes working the birds. I enjoy that.
I like working.
Yeah,
birds.
but like for me, it's my dog.
Right.
My dog makes
Yeah.
one good retrieve, rack him up. I'm going home. I'm done. I could care
Yeah.
less. I unload my gun. You watched it happen last year. Chance burrowed through and made like a perfect blind retrieve out into there. I was good to go home after that. I didn't give a fuck if we shot another bird. But like those are the hunts that stand out to me. Is when he makes those impressive retrieves, or someone goes, "Wow, that dog's good." I don't need to shoot another bird all day. I'm perfectly
He's good.
content with my day.
Yeah.
Like my work has shown, and
Mhm.
he did what I needed him to do. I'm good.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on your stage, where you're at.
Yeah, it does. My thing, like, I just want one good bunch. Just give me one good bunch. I don't care if it's 3, 5, 10, 20. I just want one good bunch. And if I don't get it, I'm going back tomorrow.
Yeah, and going back tomorrow. I'm getting mine.
I'm getting it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, and I think also, like, I think there's a stage of, like, uniqueness. Like, trying something that you didn't think would work. I
Outside
like
the
that.
box. That's fun.
like,
Well, that's what's fun about trafficking too.
Yes.
It's like they were never in here. It's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna make them come in here.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about traffic.
I did the tarp was traffic. So, I mean, that was
Yeah,
different.
you hear about that?
I saw the pictures
I
of it.
sent it to him.
I think I even texted him. I was like, man.
You
I
set
don't
that up
know.
after the hunt,
Yeah.
didn't you?
I can't believe you didn't go because it wasn't an X.
Ouch.
I just.
This fucking guy. One fucking comment. I'll never hear the end of it. No. Do you know the best part? You know who roasted me the most for that? Kleinschmidt and Bartle. Those two old fuckers roasted me the worst.
Bartle said I did it in this field before you did.
Literally, Bartle sent me a photo with Kleinschmidt hunting in like a frozen lake
In
using a black
1996?
tarp. No, in 2001 or 2. He goes,
does that actually happen?
And
Yes.
the best part
I didn't
was
know that happened.
they zoomed in on the date of the camcorder for the photo when it used to print in the bottom right corner.
Oh yeah, in red.
He zoomed in on that and he goes, look at the date. Like December of 01. He goes, been doing that since early 2000s. I was like, fuck off. He goes, try a blue tarp next.
Should have seen it back in '86.
Try a black tarp next time. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, we'll do. I threw a dart at the wall and it worked. Leave me alone.
That's the first time when I saw that, I'm like, man, I don't know if that happened. Because that's one of those things you used to hear from the old timers a lot. You know, the tarp.
Yeah.
Never saw anybody do it.
Tarp or burlap.
Yeah.
I had an old guy in town say
And he did
burlap
it.
sprayed, put gravel in burlap and spray it yellow and then knock all the gravel off. Looks
Yeah.
like corn spillage out of a wagon.
That's fucking nuts.
I've never tried that one. I finally tried the fucking
Should we
tarp.
try it?
I'm down. I want to. I think I said in an earlier pod that I want to try it this year.
My claim to fame is lived on this pond just east of here, and we froze up like super early, like first week in November. I was a kid. I was like 15, and so I would duck hunt before school and after school. And I went before school, and like we had a pallet dock through the cattails, and there was like 8 feet of ice. And so I had some decoys frozen in ice because I would just leave them there. I was a degenerate. And then I would grab the other decoys and threw them past the ice out of the canoe. And I'd just sit on the pallet dock and just whatever. I wouldn't even duck call just because I didn't know what I was doing. Then I'd come back from school and come and look at it to see if there's any ducks on it. And it was like frozen. So I go and talk to my dad about it. I was like, well, we don't have school tomorrow. It's MEA or whatever the fuck it was back then. He goes, well, we've got pool dye. You know, just put that on the ice. I was like, blue pool dye. He's like, yeah, the thing gets just open water. So I went out there at like 2 a.m. and just just dumped so much blue pool dye. And I had my decoys still frozen in the ice. And so I put it right around there and watched these things hit the ice and just slide like a penguin.
Yeah.
And I missed so many ducks. So many ducks that day. And you could just see the blue getting scraped off from the BBs. It was fucking epic. But I shot so many ducks that day. I was like, this is the coolest thing.
That'd be sweet.
It was the coolest thing ever. It actually looked like open water because that pool dye is so deep and it just goes all the way through the ice.
Yeah.
It was cool. I'm sure it's really good for the pond.
Yeah, I was just say, man,
Right,
murdering all the cattails in that pond.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
But no, I've absolutely heard of the tarp working. The gravel on the burlap and spray painting it yellow, that's
Yeah.
epic.
I read
That'd
about.
be cool.
I heard about it from an old timer in town, and I've read about it in Fur Fishing Game.
Did you guys see that Morgan Wallen and Eric Church bought Field and Stream?
Oh, I did.
What?
Yeah.
That's actually.
And so
cool.
so they're coming back out, like the magazine is out in production again.
I had no idea.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
Eric
cool.
Church and Morgan Wallen.
I had that
That's pretty
for
cool.
years. My dad had a subscription to that for years.
Yeah, I was like, I've followed Morgan Wallen and Eric Church on Instagram for like as long as I've had Instagram. Eric Church for sure, because he was famous way before Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan Wall wasn't famous back then.
And then
back when you got it.
and they had like a combined post, so it was like Morgan, Eric, Field and Stream, and I'm like,
Oh, collab.
what? It was like this old school commercial, and then they talk about like how they grew up reading it, and they're like, we had to like reinvigorate
Good for them.
the brand. Is so cool. Dude, you know what I'm bummed out that I didn't even get to talk about on the podcast, and it doesn't do it justice to talk about it at the end of it, so I'm not even going to bring it up, is the fact that you did the coolest giveaway on Instagram and Facebook ever.
Dude,
You
let's
did.
bring that up. Let's bring it up. Can we
Okay.
add that in?
Yes,
Yep.
we can talk about it.
Let's add that in.
That
I'm
is-
gonna
it was the coolest
Dude, I'm
giveaway.
going to do another one that has never been done before, and it is like going to be...
Really?
Dude, it's
Cooler?
going to engage everybody. It's going to...
Everybody.
Personally, I think it'll be cool. Yeah, let's do...
All right, shut up.
All right.
So, shut up. Carter, shut up. So, all right. Guys, I'm so sorry this is coming up at the end of the podcast. I personally called Ben Marleau after he came up with this giveaway idea for DOA decoys. Ben, why don't you just tell us exactly what you did
Yeah,
for
it
the
was...
giveaway? It was the coolest giveaway ever.
I had this idea for, I bet you 6 months I sat on it. And it was like, this has to be done. Nobody's ever done this, right?
100%.
And so we did a deal where I took bands off my lanyard, and we were looking for the next consecutive number. And we did it. We ran it 3 times. So I read, basically how it worked was I read the first band we chose was the first band that I had ever shot. And so it was kind of cool. It had a little sentimental value. But I also did...
What was the number? You remember?
Yeah, 1028-32466. That was my first band I ever shot. That's the only one I remember, right?
It's an old band.
Yeah, it was I mean, I was in high school, so it was obviously
30 years ago.
pretty old. But I chose an older one because it was the kind of contest that you didn't want it to just happen, like somebody figured out in 20 minutes and be done.
Yeah.
And then also on the same side of it, on the side for science, man, maybe the next consecutive lived for 10 years. You know, maybe it was one of the 15-year-old bands. We've all probably seen a 15-year-old band. So we ended up going through 3 bands. I read off 3 band numbers. I heard of a guy. I was told by a friend that he had a buddy that he used to guide with or was guiding with that had a consecutive to the second one. And then he never posted it up, but it was still cool because it was like...
Explain it a little bit more.
So I guess for people that might not know how bands work, right? There's only one of every number. So we were looking for the next highest number. What it did at the same time was it allowed people from all over the country to look for
A band.
You know,
I searched my lanyard, all 3 of them.
like I was getting text messages from
All
people
3 lanyards or all
everywhere.
3 bands?
All 3 bands, motherfucker. I've got 1 lanyard. The fuck? What?
Didn't know if we had Joe Hines sitting at the table or what was going on there.
I'm not Ben or Joey. Those 2 got stacked lanyards. I'm a meager peasant.
No, it was a really
the
cool
coolest giveaway.
Dude,
without a doubt.
by
Like,
far the coolest
yeah,
giveaway.
I
Where you're pulling a band
Did
off
you-
of your lanyard and like, who has the next consecutive band?
Yeah.
Did you come
Because
up
they're
with the
going to get a
idea?
bunch of decoys.
Yeah.
Did you come up with the idea?
yeah.
How'd you come up with that?
I don't know.
It just came to you?
It just came to me. I've got an
That's
idea.
badass.
I'm gonna do another one. We're gonna do another
gonna
one.
tell us?
But it'll be towards fall. But it'll be something that is totally different, and it doesn't matter how much you hunt, how little you hunt. But it's really cool. I think.
You should do a duck band one.
I don't. No,
You
I-
should do a
We
duck
did it
band.
now. We already did it.
Yeah, but a
Right?
duck band one would be different and just as cool.
I've only got 2 of them.
I only have 1.
Yeah.
Pull it from my duck band.
Yeah.
I
Like,
got
we'll do
mine when I was
that.
4 years old.
See, I don't want to like. Maybe we'll do that again one day, right? But
Yeah.
like,
Yours.
see, that's the cool thing is
Like, it makes me want to do that kind of a giveaway.
Hours.
I'm waiting for some. Okay, I
'Cause I
can't
got
wait
some
for
giveaways.
somebody to do that and then go. Ben did that first. And
Oh,
I'll be like,
yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
No, it'd just be like, because I've got this duck band that's so cool. We were together when we shot it, and it was a pretty special band, you know. And so I feel like duck bands are a lot more uncommon
Unique.
than
They are.
or unique than
Yeah.
goose bands, and so it might be 200 numbers off, which is wild,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But it's just like,
yeah.
damn. It might be the next consecutive number. You never know, because think about how many birds have been banded since, what, 1929?
Yeah, I don't know the number.
1930s?
I thought it was the 40s or 50s.
Carter,
Something
what
like
was
that.
the first banded bird?
A long fucking time ago. I know that.
Jamie, look that up.
Young Jamie.
Young
Carter.
Amish Jamie.
Young Carter.
I call him my little Amish boy.
Well, it was
Because he doesn't. It's got an Amish beard.
1595. They were banding birds.
What?
1595.
Yeah, banded peregrine
That-
falcon.
That doesn't work.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Are you trying to say 1955?
Nope, 1595. Banded peregrine falcon belonging to Henry the 6th, 7th, or 8th, or 9th. I can't.
You don't know.
I don't know how to read it,
Yeah.
but one of those.
Yeah, that's that British stuff.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
British
We-
stuff.
We kicked them out.
This is our land. Fuck your T-tax.
Revolutionary War showed us how we talk about that.
But today, self-employed tax is 33%.
Yeah, you're telling.
Sounds good.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Move it to Montana. Better fucking
It was
taxes.
1960s in the U.S. was when they started.
Yeah, it makes sense.
1960s?
Mm,
That's
I thought it was earlier than
No,
that.
I knew it wasn't that early.
that's what it says.
That's cool.
I thought 40s to 60s, somewhere in there made sense. Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
before
like-
you had to send a letter saying, hey, and now you just punch it in online. Before that, you had to call a number.
I never got an A-Vice. I wanted an A-Vice.
Yeah.
I never.
I found an A-Vice one time.
No kidding.
Yeah, but it's, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was before reporting.
Oh, what?
A-Vice band.
A-Vice, A-Vice, whatever, however you say it. I call them A-Vice.
Yeah, it's A-Vice. That's what I've
Yeah.
always heard it called.
No idea what you're talking about.
Really?
Carter definitely doesn't
It
know
was
what it
it was pre-90s, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Look up when A-Vice
it was the
bands were
90s.
started.
Was that like the Rivet?
is.
No.
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Rivet was a specific study,
Mm.
but A-Vice was before.
Shows how much I
can't
give a shit about
remember.
bands.
Right.
No, it was
None.
it was really cool.
Huh.
And for geese, a lot of them they snapped on like this. A-Vice bands did.
Hmm.
It was like the
Well, the only thing I know, but the only cool thing I know about my bands is I want to try and find a Jack Miner someday. That's on the list.
Yep.
It's on the
big
list.
bucket list for me.
A kid that I hunted with in Montana has a Mallard Jack Miner band that he found.
That's cool.
Yeah, well, we all know him. I won't say his name though in here, but yeah, he found it like in a lunchbox from a guy that they hunted with when he was a kid in Saskatchewan. Gave him like a lunchbox, and the kid he opened it up, and in the bottom is like a Jack Miner Mallard band from the 70s.
That's way cool.
And I was like, that right there,
Yeah.
that's like
Super
the
cool.
pinnacle. I seen they banded a wood duck last year, and I was like, oh, don't do that to me.
They've banded a lot of weird birds. They banded like 6 bluebills, a couple wood ducks, a couple black ducks, a lot of mallards, a lot of geese. I
A
think
black
they
duck would
banded
be
they banded a speck too.
a black duck would be high on
Dude.
my list.
A black duck
yeah.
jack.
The only reason I want to go back to Maine, the guide we went with in Maine, like, it's gonna sound shitty because I shit on this all the time publicly, but he knows where they band them. So we hunted black ducks like a quarter mile from the banding station.
Didn't get any.
No, we didn't. I was so fucking
He
pissed.
tried to cheat and it didn't work.
I was so pissed.
I don't even give a shit though, dude.
I was
like,
so
that's still
mad.
a feat. That's
The
still
only
a
part,
feat.
the only
Yeah.
part that bugged me.
Like you
We-
went there and you would have killed a banded black duck. You went there. That's the
Yeah.
feat. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but like
Yeah.
it was funny. Like we hunted there and we had one come in really like right at shooting light. And I didn't shoot it, and then it went down like to a buddy of his groups like a mile away, and you heard boom. And then he texted him like that at like 9. He goes, got a band. So every day I think about it, I'm like, was it that fucking bird that came in
Oof.
that I let go? Was it the bird I had at 10 yards that I
See,
let go?
That's the thing.
It haunts me.
Yes,
I wouldn't
it
have let
was.
that thing go.
Don't do that.
Right.
It
I find
no.
I find when I go to new places like that, I'm like, gotta kill it.
The problem was you can only shoot 2, and I was like, I want 2 for the wall. I don't
Yeah.
want to just shoot one in the dark.
Yeah, no, you want 2 good ones.
Yeah, I want, and I brought back a hybrid and a good one.
Yeah,
The biggest black duck they've shot in the last like 2 years.
that's what they tell everybody.
Yeah, 100%. Every guy
no
says
shit.
that.
No shit.
Every guide lies. It's
Yeah,
fine.
Gavin only hunts on the X's.
Oh fuck! I'm never gonna live the end of that comment down.
You're not. What did they say about A-Vice?
95
I wasn't even born
was
yet.
when
they
I could find.
started?
Yep.
I wasn't even
Wow.
born yet.
I thought it was earlier than that.
I thought it went to like later in the 90s.
I was not
In the
born.
late 1900s.
I was born in '96. You old fuckers.
But no, Rob had a bunch of like old shotgun shells and like artifactual waterfowling stuff in like a tub. In the bottom was an A-Vice band. I was like, have you ever called this in? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, cool.
Right. Was that on the lanyard you lost?
No, it wasn't on the lanyard that I lost. It's somewhere. I have no idea. But yeah, my dog's first hunt, the old one, kicked my lanyard in the water. I don't know what happened to it. Lost my lanyard. Engraved Tim Grounds calls.
Oh, man.
To Joey Love Tim, 1993. Like, really sentimental shit.
That sucks.
Fucked up.
Dredge that fucking lake.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. I looked for over 6 hours.
Everyone laughs. I'm really weird about my lanyard. Like, it's on my neck till I'm in the truck, and it goes on the seat.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone's like, why do you wear it, like, from the truck to the blind, from the blind to the truck, and you never take it off? I was like, because, like, way too many horror stories. The dude's leaving it down or getting it kicked off the boat. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Even some of the hunts we've done where, like, we've hunted, like, chest-high water or weird shit, I don't bring my lanyard. I bring a backup. I've swapped it over.
No, it makes sense.
Because I'm not willing to have one of those moments where a guy goes, man, I lost all those memories.
I've started to, last year, a friend of mine, his lanyard got stolen.
Oh, I would beat somebody's ass.
Dude, I'll leave my gun in the truck, everything. I don't care. Last year, I started bringing my blind bag in every day. Because now you get to the point where you get to a certain age, you're like, man, so bands are really cool, right? I think bands are awesome. Is it cool to come one on? Yep. Have I ever hunted for bands? Yep, absolutely. But I do it to prolong the day, right? Only on the really good days because I want to enjoy this. But I've hit that point in life where I'm like, man, I've got a lot. To me, it's a memory.
It's a memory.
It's a memory.
It's
and so it's
no
like,
different
man,
than that Mallard band. That Mallard band sticks out to both of us as probably one of the greatest trips we've ever going to do. We did more in 3 days for that trip than we'll probably do on 10 other trips.
I got naked on a sandbar because I went in over my waders.
Yeah, I shot a pair. The first morning, I shot a pair of Old Squaw in Missouri, and we sent it to a guy who hunts there, and he goes, I've never killed one there in 20 years of hunting here. And I was like, well, I just killed 2.
That's
like
one shot.
One shot doubled, and we killed a band the next day. Like,
see, we got that band has a memory.
100%. Totally. We did shit in those 3 days. Joey almost died.
Yep.
We almost lost Joey.
Not good.
No,
-11.
Yeah, -11 swamps his waders in like the one hole in the whole place. But like that whole trip stands out, and that band, like I look at it and I go, I remember that hunt.
That's the memory. Yeah, and you're one dickhead from losing it.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, it's funny.
I don't blame you. No, that's
I keep a really good track of my lanyard after losing it 10, 11 years ago.
I couldn't imagine the shittiness of somebody to take one though. Like you gotta be I could never so most guys go to shows. Like I see you at 2 or 3 shows a year. I see you all the time. I see guys at shows 2 or 3 times a year, 4 times a year. I could never imagine taking a lanyard of someone that I run into 3 or 4 times a year and then still being able to like talk to them. Or like kids walk up to you at a show. It could very well be one of those kids that took your buddy's lanyard.
It's not even that. It's random people doing a smash and grab in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Just,
you know?
Yep.
Like it happens. It happens.
But you hear about guys that get them taken at a show.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, how do you shake that guy's hand later? Yeah. How do you sleep at night?
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I
just literally, how do you sleep at night?
I fucking couldn't do it.
Yeah.
No way.
No, it's not cool. But hey, Ben, thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight. It was a long time coming.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. This is the outro music that we put on it. This is El Camayon. More Spanish music. It's good shit. Guys, if you don't want to listen to our podcast, don't subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Certainly don't follow us on YouTube. Don't follow us on Instagram. Don't follow Ben Marleau. Don't follow DOA Decoys. And certainly don't follow Gavin Colas, Gear Guy. And, hey, Ben, one more thing.